I have had my own fair share of losses because of wrong investment. And one of the red flags that I can point out is when investment money is needed urgently. Somebody needs money urgently for you to partner with them. That to me is always a red flag.
Hello there, great entrepreneurs. Welcome back to the Entrepreneur's Blueprint with Antony Njagi. I am so excited, guys. Hapa ni nuggets tu hapa na pale about entrepreneurship. I just feel like starting a business tomorrow. And today we are talking about coming up with business ideas. Antony Njagi is an author of 3 books. What Kenyan Entrepreneurs Never Tell You, The Street Smart Entrepreneur, and Thriving Entrepreneurs. Antony Njagi is also the CEO of Altocom Technologies. If you have listened to the previous videos that we have done, he has really talked about his journey, and I am thrilled that we are going to do this the next time. So welcome so much, Mr. Antony.
Thank you.
So in your previous video, you talked about the various businesses that you did while in campus and also when you had completed campus. So how did you come up with those ideas? What were the things that you looked at before starting those businesses?
Thank you, Lillian, for that question. And thank you also for the good work that you are doing with Touching Lives podcast. Thank you to Paris for putting this together through Emerald Events. You guys are the real Gen Zs, doing a great job, and we celebrate you for that. So, as you have rightly said, I am in business full-time for the last more than 10 years. I'm also an author of the 3 books, as you said. I'm a conference speaker. I do keynote addresses, facilitating summits, seminars and workshops. Basically, I share my story, and I also share the stories of others who are in business. They're doing much better than I am, but also people whose context we can relate with. Because I believe that now that I'm African, I have a voice for Africa. Yeah. And I have a voice for the African context of doing business. One of the things that I want to say in answering your question is that opportunities are always around us. I mean, if you look hard enough, opportunities are always around us. When I was in campus, these I've not talked about before, but I've documented in my book, What Kenyan Entrepreneurs Never Tell You, but I've not told you before, is that there's a time that a friend of mine got a chance to win the tender to run one of the university tuck shops, a very competitive enterprise, which needed some bit of connections here and there, and of course it needed somebody to be well oiled at that time. The friend's name was Ochieng. We were in the same class, and I remember when he got that opportunity to run that tuck shop, he approached me. He used to call me Mr. Waweru. In campus, most people used to call me Waweru, not Njagi. And he told me, Mr. Waweru, I have found an opportunity to run the tuck shop, but I'm not sufficiently capitalized. How can you come on board? And I remember that was the first time that I drafted an agreement with someone on business. And the agreement read in part that all the beverages in this tuck shop will be deemed to have been supplied by one Mr. Waweru. You know, in terms of he could supply the cakes, he could supply the pens, the books, he could do the photocopying work, the printing. Those are the main things that are done in a university setting, and especially in a tuck shop, as it were. But all drinks, that meant all sodas, the beverages, all water that was supplied. The terms of the agreement were such that those items would be deemed to have been supplied by myself. Why did I put that across? I put that across because I felt that should he realize that this venture where I have placed myself is more profitable than what he's doing, he may of course decide to start also supplying same. And I was just playing safe. Ocheng was a wonderful man. He's a fantastic man. He's doing very well in business. He does car hire today. But I remember that agreement was sort of to shield me so that I would not be played, you know. And the good thing is that Ocheng honored his part of the bargain for the entire time. But what I'm saying is that opportunities abound every other time. At one other time, a roommate again caught sang, had a printer, but he did not have the facilities, I mean the supplies, photocopying papers and the cartridges that were needed for the same. Somebody had donated it to him. And it was just lying idle. And I told him, why don't we do this? I'll supply the consumables. I'll bring the papers. I will bring the cartridges that were needed. Then we'll be splitting the profits in half. Your half because you're the owner of the printer. My half because I'm the owner of the consumables. And we did that business. One other time, there was milk boom when we were in campus. There's a time that you used to buy, when you buy the 500 ml packet of milk, they would give you 200 ml as a rider. That was happening in the supermarkets. And my friend and roommate again got hammered, Chungani, an author like myself, now works with Nairobi Water at the time of this interview. I'm still doing very well in the contracting business. Started a business. We started that business and it was called Mavuno. Mavuno Supplies, probably because it was a time of harvest. That time, it could have been the year 2010, thereabout. There was so much milk that even KCC was pouring milk because they didn't have enough places to store. And we would buy this. But now what we would do is that we would buy the 500 ml from the supermarket, get the 200 as a rider. But now in the course of our selling, we would still sell the 500 ml at the price that the supermarket was selling at, but also sell the 200. At a lower price. But now the 200 was the one that would give us the profits. So yes, if you look hard enough, there are always opportunities. There are always opportunities around us. But many times we dismiss them because we think the opportunities are not good enough. And you know, I just wish everybody had this habit of thinking big, but starting small. You know, you think big, this is where I want to go, but you start small, you start from somewhere. And if that happens, then I think the world will be a happier place.
And of course, you have said that entrepreneurs make the world a better place. So yeah, makes me want to think that there are times we dismiss opportunities. And so just to ask, what are some of the red flags, or at times when we want to start businesses, do sometimes red flags appear such that we don't, or we are not supposed to get into those businesses, or doesn't that happen in business?
Yes, hey, I have had my own fair share of losses because of wrong investment. And one of the red flags that I can point out is when investment money is needed urgently. Somebody needs money urgently for you to partner with them. That to me is always a red flag, because in most cases, a person who needs money urgently is either already in a financial hole, which you get your money into and realize that you're not starting on a level ground, but there are probably pre-existing debts, as it were. In most cases, it's debts. So one of the red flags is when somebody needs money urgently. I have always seen that to be a red flag. The second red flag is when somebody is not ready to really commit. You know, one time I was about to get into an engagement, and I told this guy that we need to go discuss it in a lawyer's office, and he never showed up. So such are red flags, and of course there's also the red flag of an investment that promises profits alone. There's no risk of loss. And this is where many people have lost money through pyramid schemes, as it were. Desi was with us at some point. We have had many, I don't know, public likes and that kind of thing, where you are investing money, but there is no hint of there may be a loss. That's a red flag, if you ask me. The third red flag is where impossible returns are promised over a very short time. I remember one time back, and have documented that again in my book, What Kenyan Entrepreneurs Never Tell You. Some guys invested in a greenhouse scheme where you are being told that you are giving this much. After 6 months, your money will have doubled, and we are the people who will be running that investment, and they actually show you we are going to be farming tomatoes, but as you invest with us 250,000, guaranteed return of 500,000 after 6 months. Really? Such high returns? Red flag. And that is where most people lose it, because when the stake is too high, then chances are this is a red flag. This is a red flag. And that's why, of course, planes have been crashing on Aviator. And, you know, betting, I mean, I give 100 bob, I'll get 200 million. Not for me.
Red
Not
flags.
for me. I think in such cases, I would now belong to, you know, the traditional kind of investors who believe that money is grown slowly by slowly. And actually, that's biblical as well. He who grows his money slowly by slowly, that will be a blessing. But wealth hastily gotten, it will be lost. So even if you were to get that money, in which case, in most cases, you will not get it. But even if you were to get that money, you will lose it very fast. Because that's how the world works. There are some irrefutable principles of money and how money works. Yes.
And so just to shed some light on the green flags now, because now you have already talked about the red flags, maybe you could shed light on the green flags for a business idea, for someone who wants to start a business.
One of the green flags of knowing a viable business idea is looking at the process. What is the process? How will this money be made? How will this money be made? Okay, I'm investing 100,000 here. I'm investing $1 million here. How will 200,000 be made on top? If you can explain to me, like you know, can explain to some politicians that I don't want to mention, and I get it, then this is something that I can run with. If I can understand the process, and by the way, I've written a chapter, start with what you understand. I believe it's chapter 4 of What Kenyan Entrepreneurs, again, I never tell you. Start with what you understand. If you are starting a business, do you understand the mechanics of how to make that money? I mean, even if you're putting money in the money market fund, it's not hard to establish how that money will be made, because at least you can understand that you know, the banks will lend, for instance, and as they lend, people obviously pay money with an interest rate, and they are probably charging an interest rate of 25% to the customer. So if they are promising me that I'll get 12% as a return, then it makes sense, because it means out of the 25 they are making, or 20 as it were, there's a difference that they will be left with, and I will be having my 12% secured. But the rule of the general rule of the thumb is start with what you understand. If you don't understand it, for me, refrain. If I can understand the process, this is how the money will be made, yes, I will invest there. That's a green flag, if I can understand the process. But if the process is hidden in some algorithm somewhere, then I think it's not a go for me, because I believe in understanding the process. That is one of the green flags. And of course, another green flag is when the organization you're investing in is reputable. For instance, if I was to invest in a Tier 1 bank in Kenya, I am not going to spend any sleepless nights feeling that I may lose my money. Because you know, in Africa, they say you must be worried not just about the return on your investment, you must also be worried about the return of your investment. So red flags, if an organization is reputable, if it has been with us for quite some time, if an industry is well understood, it has been with us for quite some time, then I can invest there. Then I can advise someone to invest there, where the organization is well understood, it's reputable. So those are two key green flags that I'll talk about. Of course, there are many, but I'll talk about those two.
Wow.
Yes.
And I think in the previous video you said that in business it gives you a platform to rethink So that is something. Start with what you understand, because it will make you rethink of everything that you would want to do. So thank you so much. Just a parting shot for someone who is stuck. They have thought about different businesses they would want to start, but they are stuck. They have heard about the red flags, they have heard about the green flags, but they're still stuck. Just a parting shot for them.
Parting shot, I'll say it in 3 statements. The first one is don't be caught up in the paralysis of analysis. Some people overanalyze things until they don't get anything done. Don't be caught up there. Just start. At least if you can see 2, 3 green flags, this is a go, just start. Number 2, and this is also very important, understand that opportunity will not always be there. Opportunity favors the prepared. Sometimes there's an opportunity here, and sometimes when you take so much time again before you dive in, you lose it. Because they say that by the time a fool is learning how to play, the players have already dispersed. That is number 2. Number 3, for somebody who is still stuck, they know they should start, but they are still stuck. I just want to say that face your fears. In business pays in 2 coins. The first coin is the coin of experience, and the second coin, of course, is the coin of cash. If you get the first one, you're the richer. The coin of experience. Go for it. If not for the cash, go for it for the experience. Then you learn how not to do things in a particular way, and you'll probably learn how to do things the right way when now you have gathered yourself again to, to restart if you started and failed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anthony. You are just spitting out facts and wise words. So just start is what we have heard from this particular video. So thank you so much, guys. Keep on following us for the next one. For the next one, we are going to talk about business plans. So I bet you actually don't want to miss this one. So thank you so much. Keep subscribing, keep commenting, keep sharing these videos to whomever you feel this is for. So my name is Lillian. See you on the next